Concord. But then from Concord, I went to Brentwood and back. So I shouldn't be safe for them.
Thank you all for coming. We're going to get started.
Just a second.
Please rise and join us in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
We should have right now.
All right, I'm Representative Stephen Smith, the Vice Chair of the committee and Deputy Speaker of the House, and I have an opening I'm supposed to do, so let's get through it. Thank you for attending this community input session regarding redistricting. Please be advised that the session will be video and audio recorded to be subsequently placed online and made publicly available. This is not a typical meeting of the House or Senate committees and will not be attended by all committee members. This meeting is occurring in the Coos County Courthouse with the permission of the court system and the county commissioners, and thank you for that, and we are grateful guests. Please understand that while we are in this facility, neither the courts of New Hampshire nor the county commissioners of Coos County have anything to do with this public input session or the redistricting process as it is underway in the general court. Staff of the general court has worked to secure places to hold these sessions, and I'm grateful to staff and the organizations that control the use of this facility for allowing us to use them. We have members of both the House and Senate here with us tonight. From the House, we have, introduce yourself, please.
Carol McGuire, representing Allenstown, Epsom, and Pittsfield in Merrimack County. I'm also the chair of the House ED&A Committee.
Marjorie Smith, representing Durham and Madbury in Stratford County, and I serve on the Judiciary Committee in addition to this committee.
Connie Lane, I'm from Concord, Ward 2, and I serve on the Election Law Committee as well as this committee.
Lucy Weber, Cheshire 1, which is Walpole, Westmoreland, Chesterfield, and Hinsdale, so the lower left-hand corner. And I serve on the Health, Human Services, and Elderly Affairs Committee as well as this committee.
Matt Wilhelm, I represent Manchester Wards 1, 2, and 3, serve on State and Federal Relations and Veterans Affairs Committee.
Ray McDonald, I come from Rockingham County. I represent Rockingham County District 5, which is the town of Londonderry. In addition to this committee, I'm Vice Chairman of Election Law. I'm Bob Lynn. I'm from Wyndham, New Hampshire. That's Rockingham District 7, and I serve on the Finance Committee.
Thank you. And our esteemed colleagues from the Senate, Senator Gray.
Thank you. Just a couple of matters for the Senate. I am the chair of the Select Committee for Redistricting in the Senate. I'm also the chair of the Election Law Committee in the Senate. Senate does not allow cheering, clapping, booing of any kind. Please be respectful of the people who are testifying. You'll have your opportunity to express your feelings. You don't need to do it with clapping or booing or anything. I do want to recognize our senator from Coos County, Erin Hennessey, is in the audience. I'm Jim Gray, and I will let Senator Perkins-Poca introduce herself.
Sure. My name's Senator Rebecca Perkins-Poca. I represent District 21, which is Portsmouth, Durham, Newmarket, and the surrounding towns. And I'm on election law and energy and natural resources in addition to this committee.
All righty. I'm supposed to ask you if you'd like to open. I've
already taken care of that.
That is awesome.
You actually have two hearings going, a House committee hearing and a Senate committee hearing. And I've already opened the Senate one. Knocked on the table quietly, but I did do it.
Love efficiency. As this meeting will be placed online and is being watched right now. Is that right, Grant? I think so. Anyway, it'll be uploaded at the very least.
Which one's room?
We're going to have an overview of the process. Information on the redistricting process for the House of Representatives can be found on the General Court website. Once you're there, select House of Representatives, then select committees. It's right up by the top. And under that, you'll find standing committees. One of the standing committees is a special committee on redistricting. Go ahead and click on that. And on that page, you will find a link that enables you to email all committee members. So even after this, it's still pretty easy to contact us with your thoughts and input on this process. You'll also find a link there for the committee website. That page has additional information on it for the special committee on redistricting. You will find, among other things, a link for meeting minutes and recordings. That is where the video that is being taken here tonight will be found. Redistricting is a process that occurs throughout the country every 10 years after the federal census is completed. That population data is used to create districts for representation at all levels of government. Here in New Hampshire, our Constitution says the responsibility for the creation of those districts is that of the legislature. The districts to be redrawn in New Hampshire will be the Congressional, Executive Council, State Senate, and State Representative. There's also redistricting for county commissioner districts and delegates to the state party convention. There are handouts here tonight with some information for you. I gave them to Representative Burrs. There should be on a bench there.
They're outside of the bench.
Perfect. That's more detail on Coos County. From the House Representative side, it would be helpful for you to comment on things you might think are important for redistricting in Coos County, but you can of course make comments on other districts as well. We'll be doing this event in every county. Not on the sheet, but something I really want to say is the reason we're going out is the thing that's hardest for us to get is the local knowledge. These two towns are in a district, they got nothing in common, or these two towns have a ton in common and they're not in the district. I'm from Sullivan County. You can't drive through my district on pavement without leaving the county to do it. So it's nuggets like that that are really useful to us, because beyond that, it's just a lot of math. There are sign-up sheets for people who'd like to talk. We have a microphone up here for you to speak into. And since we're recording, it's particularly important for us all to be able to hear. And I hope I'm doing okay. My wife says I never have a problem with volume. All right, we have people signed up and we're going to call them. When you call, we're going to ask you to come up to the microphone. Each member of the public will be provided with X number of minutes to speak on the issue. Just, I'm not going to fill in the number. Just say what you want to say. All righty. First up, I have Ellen Farnham, Tamworth.
Yes, and I would like to say, because I am from Carroll County, if you would like me to go after the people from Coos County, I'm happy to wait. Does it matter to
There's
you?
not a lot of people. It's fine.
All right, thank you.
And we're going to go through everybody. So
Thank you.
This looks like a lot, but it's really in giant font. Dear members of the Special Committee on Redistricting and the Senate and House members, I want to begin with thanking all of you for the time and hard work you've invested in this redistricting process. This is a huge responsibility, and your work will impact all of us in the years ahead. This past year, people in 74 towns and municipalities around the state voted to support the New Hampshire resolution for nonpartisan fair redistricting. Clearly, the public desires a fair, open, and impartial redistricting process. Your special committee has taken a good first step by scheduling listening sessions like this one all around in all of the counties. However, the committee must follow up these listening sessions with 4 additional steps or actions. First, the Special Redistricting Committee should immediately disclose the criteria it is using to create new voting districts. Second, once the maps are drawn by the Special Committee, they need to be made available to public. Each citizen deserves an opportunity to see the maps, study the maps, and then comment on the maps. Therefore, a second hearing in each county is imperative. Further, the second hearing needs to provide an option for citizens to participate remotely. I have spoken with many people who cannot attend in-person meetings due to COVID concerns or other health issues. Many of them care deeply about redistricting, They deserve a chance to both hear information and give testimony directly to this committee. Remote access would provide them with this opportunity. Finally, I want to urge you to incorporate the population data with communities of interest data. This spring, nonpartisan groups such as the League of Women Voters and Open Democracy gathered people from around the state to participate in the Mapathon Citizen Mapping Project. I was one of the citizens who participated in this project by filling out information on the town I come from, Tamworth. The data was then meticulously compiled and maps drawn using both population numbers and community of interest data. I have looked at these maps and believe they present fair, nonpartisan, and balanced solutions to redistricting. Please consider these maps when you're making your decisions. And I want to thank you again for giving me this time to speak.
Thank you. Is Representative Hatch in the house? On down.
I'll just be very brief, thank you. William Hatch, I represent Coas District 6. It's beautiful town of Gorham and a wonderful town of Shelburne. And first, let me say welcome to our beautiful county and welcome to the North Country. Just a few things I'd like to add, and maybe these things are already in consideration. I have no idea what any of you think of Coas County, but for the years that I've been in the legislature, I've heard a variety of statements from people that live in the southern part of the state that really don't depict what Coas County is. That's not an insult, but I'm just not sure everybody understands that some of the things that I've heard, that everything in Coas County is the same. All the communities are very similar. Nothing could be further from the truth, like many other places. And there's many other things. We now have changed from an area that is very dependent upon the forest industry, paper-making industry, which has since left us. Just to put that in perspective, when I bought my business in Berlin 45 years ago, doing my due diligence, one of the things that I noted was the number of people that work in the paper-making industry, whether it be aligned services or support services like loggers and otherwise, or the paper makers and the machinists that work in the mill. Very good paying jobs, etc. And that was one of the things that attracted me to the store to buy out building supplies, because the income base was stable and it was good. There were 35,000 people working in the paper industry in Coas County. Today, we're lucky if we have 200. And that transformation took place in a very short period of time. So we're now in a dynamic stage in this county, and we're adjusting. Right now, our primary industry is the tourism industry. And we're very thankful for it, and we're very protective of it, and we're very concerned that we maintain things in place to attract and be able to provide the services that tourists come to and are attracted to. And that goes to my point. For example, I live in Gorham. Many of you have stated to me that I'm from Berlin. Nothing wrong with that, but nothing could be further from the truth. Gorham and Shelburne, the two communities I represent, are very similar in many ways. We share a school district, and we share many other industries. Many of us share churches and other social functions. So we're almost a community of one, though two separate individual communities. And there's a plethora of other things that I could add to along with that. But my point is this, that though it's a numbers focused item when you redistrict, because they have to work and they have to align and many other things have to align, I would just encourage you to please consider those aspects when you redistrict. Currently, my district is two communities, very closely aligned. They share services and they have many other commonalities. So in my mind, it just takes sense, not just where I live, but many other places, to consider those factors, because they should be part of the makeup. And thank you.
Thank you. Next up, I have Christie of Lancaster.
I'm here primarily as an observer. No comment.
All righty. How about, I hope I get this right, Kathleen Compton?
I'm just an observer.
Okay. Is there anybody else? Come on down.
I wasn't going to speak until I heard Representative Hatch speak, and I realized I should speak. My name is Edith Tucker. I represent COAS 5. And COAS 5 hangs together because we are a long time tourist area. In my district are two grand hotels, the Omni Mount Washington in Brentwood Woods, which is part of Carroll, which is one of the 4 towns I represent. It's made up also of Twin Mountain. So Twin Mountain and Brentwood Woods go together as Carroll. The Omni Mount Washington is an enormous enterprise. And the Mountain View Grand is also a Grand Hotel, not as enormous as the Omni Mount Washington. But they have the pluses of the tourist industry, and they also have the costs and worries about the tourist industry when we're talking about multiple people on weekends, such as the one coming up. I also represent Jefferson and Randolph, where I live, a town of 300. But Randolph, because of its hiking past, has been a tourist area on what we now call non-motorized. It used to be a foregone conclusion that recreation wasn't motorized particularly, but now it divides itself into motorized and non-motorized. So it's true that my district has 2 school districts, not one, which would be probably nice. But the commonality of being long-time tourism and having built an economy on that, plus forestry. It wasn't the mills that were in District 5. It was the logging itself. The loggers, the people who processed, the people who hauled. So it's shifting too as tourism is growing, and all of COAS, although we're by no means the same as has been said before, there is commonality of dealing with declining population, dealing with finding ways to keep our young people here, to make sure that we have dollars for education, and that we are preparing our young people to make their way in a world that's really quite different than 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. And we need an equity here in COAS so that we're able to give our young people the same benefits of education as others. So that aspiration that parents, grandparents, and here great-grandparents have is a commonality that all of COAS has. And it's very apparent that that's the case. We're an aging population, of which I'm a part, and I'm quite familiar with it. And there is tremendous worry about the future here. And that is a commonality. So as you redistrict, be thinking about sort of aspirational, collective views and the kind of problems that we're wrestling with. They're not that different in West Stewartstown from Randolph, from Berlin. There is a commonality to being in this county. And it's worrisome to go from 10 representatives out of 400 down to 9. So your work here is tough in this county, and I'm aware of that. But think about what it will be to really represent your constituents if there are only 9 representatives. Pretty tough. So I also want to say thank you for having a meeting here in this courthouse. Very often, we have meetings in co-ops in buildings that really aren't ADA accessible. This one is. It has all the accoutrements of a modern building, of sound and lights, elevators, and things that make it so people can come here. And I believe it was Executive Counselor Kenny who had the idea of having it at the courthouse. I think it's an excellent one. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Anyone else? Okay. What I'm not going to do is wrap this after only 26 minutes in case somebody traveled a great distance and is running late. So let's recess until 6:40 and see if anybody shows up. phone thing's getting voice commands. Silent. I apologize for that. Power off, won't happen again. I'll reprimand myself Monday. Welcome.
Thank
Tell
you.
everybody who you are and what
Thank
you'd
you.
like to say.
Thank you. My name is Erin Hennessey. I am state senator for District 1, which covers the northern part of Grafton County and all of wonderful Coos County. I am glad that you all are here this evening to listen to our concerns. I am going to speak for the two of my constituents who spoke this evening. Thank you. I apologize that not more people didn't come out for this. In the months leading up to this, we received a lot of emails hoping that it's a free and fair process. And I want to thank you for making this a process where everyone can come in and participate. I just wish that others had come in to participate this evening. So I want to just reiterate basically one comment about what my the reps in Coos County had mentioned earlier. And that is Coos County is different from the rest of the state because it's much more rural. We're much more separated from the southern part of the state, which continues to grow. When I first got into the House, like 7 years ago, somebody tapped me on the shoulder and said, oh, this bill that we're talking about, Colebrook, that's in your area. No, Colebrook is not next to Littleton. So people don't understand the differences in the communities. They don't understand the difference in the geographic area, what the economic needs are, what the school needs are. And it would be much better if Coos County continued to have representation that it currently has in the House. I realize that probably the Senate district's not going to change much. It'll still have one senator. So if you want to add two. So thank you for taking the time this evening. I appreciate all of you coming up, especially you, Senator. Nice to see you. So that's what I have for you this evening. And if
Thank you,
anybody would
Senator.
like to stay this evening or enjoy dinner in Lancaster, it's beautiful. There's many options. Lancaster Motel right down the street is newly renovated. It's beautiful.
Promoting local, well done. All right, anybody else? Senator?
Senate hearing.
All right, we will also close the House hearing. Thank